It says we're live, or it looks like we're live. Here, let me see if I can get this going here. Right there. Well, I erected the tool. See, what's this? Yay! So, well, just like the video implies, it's a live unboxing. So I wonder what it is that we have. I wonder what it is we have in the first box. Let's see.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring your chair in and sit here in front of the curtain to give this all this open space here.
Yeah. Well, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine because it'll be easier. So it's okay. Yeah. I wonder what this is. I don't know. There's candy in there. Ah.
I already ate the candy.
Ah. Look at that. See? It's okay. I'll get that. So, here. Hold on. Let me do this. Here. So, well, something suggests that.
Ah, Bumble, what you
What's
buy
happening,
me?
brother? Yeah, what we buy you?
It's not the mud pie.
No. Or a pair of socks. Remember when we were kids? For Christmas? We wanted to get something nice. You know, when you're a kid, it's a toy, right? Get underwear and socks. Okay, so.
Dwight! Hello.
Dwight, what's happening, my friends? So, alright. This is like, we got a gazillion of these, but.
Just what he wanted. Just what Bumble wanted.
An empty. Of course, you're gonna sniff everything.
Oh,
There you go.
Sniff everything.
There we go.
The guy sniffed them.
Yeah, so. Now, there's a reason why we got this. Could be a good tip box, too. Never thought about that. Okay, so that's number one. Now over here, Jesus, where's like my birthday or something? Aha! We got bubbles.
Bubbles are not in the throat.
That's right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Pedalboard case. Yep,
That's
right.
it.
That's one thing.
I'm not gonna waste a lot of time with bubble wraps. Because what this is.
Drum roll, please.
Drum machine roll. Alright. So, you might see it on what it says in the
A
box.
box inside a box.
A box inside a box. That's it.
Yay.
Now, I'm going to explain why we got this.
You want to explain?
Hmm? Like a booger. You sure you got the candy out of there, Deb?
Explain to me.
There's no candy in there. Did we get had bad? Oh.
I ate it already.
Oh, look at you. Okay. So now, we're going to take a look around in here and...
Oh.
Ta-da! Now, what this is...
Guitar Man Dan.
Hey, Guitar Man Dan, what is happening, brother? Now, look at this. Is cool with this power supply. You know why it's cool with this? Look at the way it is. Oh, wait a minute.
Looper City.
Put that in there. Well, it should save space for other cords. This is the RC300. Now, I'm going to explain why we went with this. And this is pretty cool. This is cool. There is a reason. I know they got the RC600. Look at this.
There is a reason. Oh, do the sniff.
The guy
Gotta
thing.
sniff.
Yeah.
Oh, more
As you
sniffing.
can tell, it's brand new, not reshelved. You know that? Okay.
It passed the sniff
I
test.
passed the sniff test.
The
Okay.
new pedal sniff test.
Okay. So, yeah. Now, I know this is old technology from what's out there. Okay.
Lala.
Chance Lala, what's happening? Good seeing you. I hope all is well. And let's see. So, okay, let me explain what's going on. So, we could have got that RC600 because what we paid for this and that was more than that, the RC600. But here's what's really cool with this. You have an expression pedal that you could use as a volume pedal to control everything. And it will not affect your input from, let's say, the whatever effects that you're using. You could assign it to that. You could assign it to that. But another thing is, but it'll only affect the loops. So let's say you got your effect unit here, and if your loops are too louder than your effect unit, with the foot switch, boom, everything's hands free. Now I know you could say, well, yeah, you could have got the RC600, and supposedly, and I guess it is. The fidelity on that is much better than this. Okay, it should be because it's newer technology. This came out in 2011, 2012, something like that. So it's already 10-year-old technology. But, okay, with these inputs and outputs, you do have phantom power if you want, or if not, you use your mic input. You got stereo ins, you have stereo outs for mains, but you also have a sub out. So if you wanted to run, let's say you're laying down a bass, because here's the deal with this. You could have 3 loops as one unit, and then let's say loop 1 will be your guitar, and this also has a rhythm in there, drum machine and all that. So here's guitar, and loop 2 would be for your bass, and then loop 3 if you want to add things, and that, there's all kind of things you could do with this. But let's say with the bass, you could take the sub out, run it into another channel on the mixer, and then they could control that, and it'll be separate from like the guitar or the drums or whatever else you come out there. Okay, so that's a really cool feature. Another thing this has is transpose. I'm sure the RC600, I did not take a whole lot of look at that as far as the videos on it, but I saw a whole bunch of videos pop up with this, and I was reluctant on this one, just like with the ME80. But then I saw these videos, and I saw what these people are doing with this, and you could name your loops too. So let's do this, guys. So in the screen here, you could name all your loops, which is real cool. So if you don't have to have a piece of paper and you lose the paper, the wind blows or something, Yeah, the Digitech. No, I use Quentin James with him. Yeah, Quentin, I still have my RP360 XP. Now, one of the switches started to go on it, because here's the thing: when you're using these things constantly, even when you're cleaning them, down here we get a lot of like the dirt's real sandy, so it gets stuck in there and all. Joe Wentz, what's happening, brother? Hey, happy birthday to Mrs. Joe Wentz, to Cheryl. God bless you guys, man. She's 21 again. The ladies are always 21, right? I'll be checking out more of your video, Joe, because I think that you did a video where you were vacationing. Good for you, man. Okay, so you have separate volumes for your inputs, because you got your instrument input, you have an auxiliary input, and what else do you have input? A mic input, so you can control that. Now, with this, you have transpose, so you can assign this to whatever you want. So in transposing, you could take a rhythm. Let's say your chord progression is E minor, D, and C. Now you want to do a modulation. You can do a modulation upwards, so now it becomes F minor, E, and D. To give, and then you could switch it back down to E minor, C, D, and C. So you could modulate, transpose your chord progression, which is a good feature. Now, that's why you could name your on the display. You can name everything there. Okay, so I saw these videos, and I had to put each one together, because this guy is doing one thing, that guy is doing something else, someone else, and they'll say, oh, well, you can't this and you can't that, and I'm looking for what I could do with it. And the information I gathered is I could load up. Here's you could have this as a intro chorus, intro verse chorus, however, or you could have this set up as 3 separate loop pedals. So and that's per bank. So let's say I have banks 1 through 5 as my backing tracks. Well, what I could do is, and you could set the length for each track. I could have song number 1 here, song number 2, and song number 3, and that'll take care of one track. So, and then I could keep going on for 5 tracks if I want to, however long, you know. So if I only do 2 programs, I could get 6 songs because I could separate them. Now, when I take songs that I have an intro, a verse, and a chorus, and whatever, now that bank, I could put that into the individual, or not the individual, but the loops where I could loop them together. So I could have my intro here, verse, chorus here, guitar solo or whatever here. And how you could set this up, you could have it where one loop, it plays the whole loop and it stops, then it goes into this loop. Or you could have it set up where anywhere you want to stop this, you could do that by hitting your next loop and it'll automatically stop this. Because there's certain songs that I've got programmed that I have to wait for the loop to go all the way. One of them is my version I do of No Quarter. So that intro, I could stop it anywhere I want without hitting 1, 2, and 3 times a switch, you know. Here I could just hit the 1. And all that. So I could have that all set up. So you get 3 hours of internal memory on this. So I'm not going to use all of 3 hours. I do want to save it for some of the live looping. The loop stations that we're using right now, what's happening is my foot switches are starting to go. And I've cleaned them already. And I've already known. So it's not just, and also with the foot switches going, my little volume, it's starting to spike. Now I got electronic spray. I could take the thing apart straight. But here's my issue. I got all these shows that's almost back to back. So if I start taking stuff apart to really work with it, now what happens, that takes away my rehearsal time because now I got to mess with things. And if there's something I'm just not aware of, you know, then it's like, okay, I opened up a can of worms, now I can't fix it. You know, I don't have that knowledge. And I don't have those tools. So now I got to send it out. I don't have the time. So I figure, and I can't get, Digitech is, they're no longer. So, and I loved the product, but when the company's out of business, and adapters you can't buy, parts you can't buy, or if you gotta wait here, everything's like screwy. It's like, okay, I gotta think fast here. Now, there are other loop pedals out there that are great, and I know the Headrush has got that one. It's fantastic. And I started thinking, okay, now there's new companies coming out, new companies that have been around maybe 2 or 3 years. So how strong is that company? And not saying that it won't survive. Maybe it'll just take off and be for the next, 50 years. That'd be great. But what happens if they don't? And then I start really relying on that, and now the company's gone. Now I got to just redo everything once again. So I thought, well, you know what? Let me just look into the Boss products because I know Boss has been around since the 70s, like mid-70s. And they've never gone away. So they got longevity. So, when you're out there constantly playing, it's something that you got to think about. Because, you got to think of your time relearning things and reprogramming things and getting used to those things, depending on the person, everyone's different. But the other thing you got to think about that never really made me think this until after Digitech got shelved. Now, that's a company that's been around, I'm pretty sure since the late 70s, it came out a little after, they've been, put it this way, if you couldn't afford the Boss pedals, you bought the DOD pedals, or MXR, but the DOD was always the cheapest one to buy. And that was from the late 70s and the early 80s and all that. And so they have that history. But the problem is, they're gone. So now what do you do, So when I saw this, as opposed to the RC600, like I said, with the price that we paid for this and this pedal board, we could have easily bought that RC600. You know, no problem. But I'm watching this thing. There's not enough videos that tells me this, that, and other for what I would use it for. Oh, everyone else using it for. Hey, man, I recommend go ahead and buy that. You know, if you're looking for something super high fidelity and you're used to all that or all that, then yeah, absolutely, you go for that. For me, I saw this. It's really cut and dry, very, very simple. Everything is labeled. It's not that difficult. I'm like, okay, I got to think of what I'm doing because the worst thing, and I would suggest this to anybody, worst thing you do is you see someone that got something and it looks cool. Yeah, you could see all the videos you want.
Oh, Sony wants to know, what did we unbox?
Oh, the RC 300. We didn't go with the 600. We could have got the 600, but the reason why we went with this is it seems a little bit simpler. But the main thing, besides I can name my songs, and you could name them on the 600, this is the only one I've seen that's got an expression pedal. So I could have this assigned specifically for volume. So while I'm playing, if my loop tracks are too high, I could back them down hands-free. But you could also have it assigned where you could control delays and flangers and all that. So everything is built in, which is cool. And again, I could have bought another volume pedal. It's something else to get, and you know, want to keep it simple. You got stereo ins, auxiliary. Well, I'll just show this again. So you got a for mic in with phantom power, or you can switch it off if you don't have. Excuse me, if you don't have phantom power. You have stereo ins, auxiliary in, main out, headphones. You have a sub output stereo, and then you have controllers, which I do have the FS5 foot controls. I got 4 of them. So what's cool with that, you could have that set to go up and down your programs and still have your switch here for if you want to do, which I'll probably have it set for to turn on and off transpose, key transpose. So like on some of the rhythms I already have, I want to do a modulation, go up a whole step, I'll use that. Just step on and it'll go up a whole step. I'm pretty sure it'll do the whole step. And then this could start and stop everything all at once, which is a great feature. I'll probably leave that there. And then, you know, you got your faders, you know, for each individual loop. So it's like having 3 separate loop pedals in one. And this would be your master loop volume, and then you have a rhythm because it has a built-in drum machine, which I'll check that out. And then here you have your input volumes. So that's another thing. It's a knob. When I was talking with one of the guys at one of the waiters at today's gig, he has the RC 505, and we were talking. And I said, yeah, they upgraded the 505 to the 505 Mark II. It's a great unit, great unit. And again, look at what you're gonna use it for, and then watch those videos and see how easy it would be for you to use. The only thing I was telling him with this, the reason why I went with this is because it got the expression pedal. Again, hands-free, I could change my volume. I could control my volumes, which is very important. But I was telling him the reason why I'm looking at things that's basically knob to base as opposed to cursor and menu. In a live setting, you have nanoseconds to adjust something. It's like right there. It's got to be quick. Because anytime you got to swipe or get into a menu, that's an extra second added, or it could be extra few seconds. And you probably think, well, what does that mean? That doesn't matter. When you're playing live, music doesn't stop. It's constant. It's constant. So that's just the way I think. Now you do have out here, what's really cool, again with the outputs, you have MIDI, which I never use, but you have MIDI in, out, and through, which is cool. Here you have it's USB, but it's got a casing over it, and you got your on-off power supply switch, and this does come with its power supply. Because when we got on Sweetwater, it's got a picture of a guy saying, "Oh, with this product, we recommend you getting this adapter." And we thought, "Oh crap!" I told that, but I'm pretty sure this does come with its adapter, and yeah, it does. So if you would grab the 300, it does come with an adapter. And it's got the manual, but I saw enough videos. And another thing, I'm going back into liking these switches, okay? Because, like Sonia, your your GT 100, yeah, those switches might be plastic, and that's kind of a concern because I used to have an old Zoom 2100. I had a Zoom 2020 when it came out, and I can't remember what happened with that. No expression pedal, and then we got the Zoom 2100. I think I might have sold it or gave it to us. I can't remember, but I do remember it had the plastic switches. But eventually those break. But that was early 2000s. This is a little bit more solid. I think yours might be solid. What I'm starting to like with these type of switches and what you have, it's not the metal that's exposed. Like on those little switches that now everyone's starting to use. Even the new Boss GX100. And that's got the swipe screen. Not saying anything bad about it, but I've started to notice what I've had. And I know Quentin James with the RP360 XP. I love that pedal. It's great. But what started to happen, and even though you clean those switches, at least down here where all these gigs we're doing outside, the dirt out here is like sand. So it just blows and everything gets clogged up and it starts messing with everything. So whatever the contact is, it's getting in on that contact. Where this, it seems like you got a lot covering the main contact. And I started to really look at this stuff. Well, you know what? This might be a good thing because I need this stuff to last. So, it's a nice unit. Let's see. I know Deb got the power supply. And we'll see if we get this on. Just real briefly, what I'll be doing probably later today is loading songs up here. And just seeing how all that works. Okay. Let's see. So, let's see if I could do this, guys. Let's see if I could do this. How do you do this? Okay. Maybe like that. I don't know. Okay, there we go. So, what I'm going to do is power this on. There we go. Okay, so this is what I mean. You got all your memories up and down. It's empty. So, when I load up, you could actually, I don't know how many lettering you could actually get in there. But there's a lot that you could put in there. And as I'm playing, I know I'll be able to see my set list. See, so I'm just looking at things that's going to be as easy to use as possible. And it will fit inside this pedal board. And because what we did is we had this, we got the measurements of the width of the length and the width. And then since we already have a couple of these pedal boards, we measured the inside. And it actually, there's definitely enough room. It'll fit in there, no problem. But you see what I mean? So you got like 3 separate loops. Now on the RC600, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot, and it's a little bit smaller. And the reason being, it's a little bit thinner, and it's smaller, more narrow, because it doesn't have the expression pedal. This expression pedal is going to be, and it's solid metal. And if it gets loose, you can tighten it. And everything's right there. Something to think about. So, yeah, I know it's old technology, but sometimes when they update things, they take certain things away, and it's those certain things that you realize, hey, I might need that one for my situation. So, it's, everything's, this whole case is metal. Nothing's plastic. Except the little switches. But they're like a solid, a solid plastic. So, yeah, my friends, because my Digitech pedals are starting to go. And it's only a matter of time. We've been using them for a long time now. I'm actually down to one more pedal that uh, is still working, but it's not going to take long for that to go because I've experienced certain volume jumps, and actually those Digitech Jamman stereos came out what in 2009. Came out a couple years later after that, so it's pretty. Thank you, man. Again, it's older technology, but the thing is, guys are buying products. You look at what your situation is, and if you never want to go out and play, hey, don't worry about it, man, because it's fun. It's fun, but you know what? You're going back and forth, loading, unloading, and it's always when you're done playing, tearing down. You're tired. So I'm not gonna say one is better than the other. I'm just saying for me, that's my like. Yeah, it does have MIDI. Yeah, Bumble Best has got MIDI in, out, and through. Which a lot of these other units, the newer technology, only has MIDI in and out. I really never used MIDI, but I'll tell you what, I have seen people sync this up. Videos that they're syncing this up to the Boss RC 505 and doing incredible things with it. I'm so out of touch with new tech. Yeah, but you know what? This tech is 10 years old, man. 10 or 11 years old. This older technology. But the thing is, again, it's simple, laid out, very, very simple. Okay, let's see. Guessing people still use old gear is why it's still around, but not sure. Yeah, Bumblebest, that's true. And the thing is, Sweetwater had, I don't know how many of these they had in stock. They might have a few, but it did say they're in stock. So, something that is older technology, and when they still have it in stock, that tells me that they're still producing this. So, even though Boss has got their newer stuff, they probably saying, you know what, let's not shut the doors on the 300 yet because it's still in demand for certain people. So we'll still, continue making them until things kind of phase out, of course. Um, let's see. A lot have both. Yeah, yeah. A couple of companies have come out with some simple MIDI control. Yeah, they have. And Sonya, they came out with these, they're like MIDI adapters. So it's almost like a headphone plug, maybe a little bit bigger, smaller than quarter inch, but maybe a little bit bigger than your eighth inch headphone jack. And on the other end, there's an adapter to it. So you could hook up your MIDI, 5-pin MIDI cable. That's actually a good idea because if something happens, you're just replacing the cord. Again, see, this is what you have to think about. A lot of gigs are going to be outside as well. When you have your festivals, this, that, and the other. And a lot of people, when they're renting out land to host a festival, they're not thinking about products. They're not thinking about any of that. They're just thinking about, okay, this area is cheap for us to rent, and the bands is just something extra, but we're going to have all kind of food, blah, blah, this, that, and the other, merchandise for whatever the event might be. So, yeah, the live music is a good part, and usually there are stages. But then if they have multiple stages, sometimes they don't. They'll have a couple of main stages, and everything else you're, on the ground or whatever. Now down here, we have not played Fort Myers Beach. No, I don't know if we'll do that. I don't want to say anything bad about it. But you see, Fort Myers Beach it's a town, but it's a town that's right there on the beach. And the problem is, their downtown area is right off the beach. So when it gets windy, it's blowing all that sand around, and you can't really control that so much. But what you can do, if I'm not using MIDI, I could tape all that up so no sand or dirt gets in there. I'm very selective with the gigs because I don't want to get stuff destroyed and get dirty because a lot of the people they don't think about that. So I'm just going to see if I can catch up on. Yeah, you know what, Ephraim? I'm pretty sure the new keyboards still use MIDI as an option, but a lot of it is going to be with the USB. That is one thing I said. Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah, thanks. I'm kind of scrolling down. Yeah, the GT1, Sonia. I'm surprised Mitty is still around. Yeah. Yeah, chili sounds good. It does. Of course, there's I'm baking protein muffins too. Yep. So let's see here, guys. Oh, Sonia. Yeah, the sand is very horrible on stuff. It's my Digitech pedals. My looper, both my loop pedals are starting to go. Actually, we had a few of them, and the switches go, and then they get stuck. And I actually cleaned around there, right where the little button is. You know, sprayed the dust contactor, sprayed it. Wiped it again, make sure it was clean, and it was still kind of doing that. So I noticed I have to push down harder. And some of the shoes that I'm wearing, they're not real strong threads. And of course, look at the kitty. Yeah, she's real curious, all right. So, I know I could take it apart. The problem is, some of these parts, International owned Digitech the last few years. So when everything gets discontinued, they're not really going to have parts per se. I could be wrong, but their idea is, okay, if something goes wrong, you just order a new pedal. They were like $300 or something like that at the time. And they work great. I love those. The problem is that when they're starting to go bad, you can't really replace them unless you buy something off the used market. And then if those people have not been taking care of it, well, I'm back to square one. That's my issue. So, and we noticed that a couple of last gigs we were getting volume spikes, and then something was going on, and then I know for a fact I hit the pedal solid and would like miss the loop. And I'm like, okay, there's an issue. So yeah, but see, we've had those pedals for a while. The last loop station, Jamman stereo looper, we bought it from Sweetwater when they had it in stock, and it was like one of the last ones they had in stock, and that was about three years ago, because I was still teaching a guy down here, and through Pro Audio Sound magazine, we found out that something was going on with Digitech, and then he pulled it up because he had ordered some Digitech pedals. He was like, "Okay, what's going on?" And oh, you can repair it. Oh, you can repair the pedals. Sweet. But maybe we should send them to you to get fixed. But so he said they're out of business. I'm like, oh crap, man. Go figure, right? Go figure. So that was the last one we bought, and we've been using that one. That's like one of the last ones that's still working pretty steadily, but not 100%. Not 100%. And I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do now? See? But what is nice with this, I could name all my songs that I'm gonna use, and then I got three right there. Hopefully this could last too. Tell you what, man, that's the only thing with this. This gear could be pretty expensive, you know. And with pedals, you're stepping on them. That's why I try to make sure my shoes are clean. And another thing, you don't realize it until you're stepping on expensive pedals. And all of a sudden, all that crud that's in the tread of your shoes, just guess where it's going? It's going on your pedals. Yeah, I don't buy some used electronics like TVs. They are used a lot. Yeah, Bumblebest, that's just it. Used guitars, vintage guitars, yes. My TVs and computers run 24/7. Woo. See, with Sonia, you know what? With you working on electronics, that's the last time I did anything was back in the 80s, where I started to pick up on my old Ibanez artists, which I really didn't need to do. but I did because I wanted to fit in with, oh yeah, put the new DiMaggio dual sound pickup in there, and it was cool, but I shouldn't have done that. And it worked. I got it to work. I did it right, but very time consuming. So that's not one of my strengths. I could do it if I wanted to, but I'd be putting a lot of time into it and then be shifting away from the music, the actual performing. And I love playing, man. But yeah, yeah, I saw this video. Maybe it was a post. Maybe it wasn't a video I saw. It was a post that Brad the guitarist posted up, just saying, "Hey guys, give you the heads up. Be prepared because parts are gonna be scarce to get, and they're gonna be expensive." And I think he was referring to some of the power amp tubes. Because I do know you could still get some tubes from Russia. Because I have a couple of friends that got some Russian built amps. And then some of the Sylvania, I forget what the tubes they are. But they could be starting, the prices could go up. Yeah, Bumble, they've been through a lot, man. Because you're figuring I'm doing 3 hour sets. And I'm constantly playing. And I don't know how, just down here, how many gigs we've been doing. Shit, got to be over 300 at least. And then all what we were doing back up north, and then with all traveling. Traveling, here's the thing with traveling, I love it when I hear people say, oh, your stuff gets banged. It does, but that's if you're not a careful driver, if you know how to pack your gear, you know what I mean. you know when your gears could get banged around the most is when you're actually walking with it, setting it up, moving it around. That's when it gets banged up, you know. And you're doing an outdoor gig and you got your pedal board open and it's out. Here comes a bird. Boom, big pile of poop on the board. That's never happened yet. I hope it never does. But these outdoor gigs, man. It's the outdoor elements. That's it, man. So you're at the mercy. Parts are getting more expensive. Yeah, Sonya, Miss Sonya, that they are. They're getting more and more expensive. It's like, ooh, now what? So, but yeah, this thing has 99 memory banks. But now, see, let's just say it's got 100. Okay, so if I were to take this as separate, because you can have it as separate loop pedals, I could have 300 songs. If I got 99, well, I'm just gonna round the number to 100. And I got 3 separate loops. Well, 100 times 3 is 300. So I could have 300 songs in there if I want, which I'm not going to do that because I'm going to save a lot of this to my live looping. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I will be doing videos as I post them up, as I get this thing all set, and I'll do videos and explain to show you how I'm using it. There is a lot of videos that are out there on this. And that's how I was able to piece everything together to see what I could use it for myself. One guy does a video on the expression pedal. Another guy does a video on this, that, and the other. Another guy does a video on naming it. So, it's like anything else. You got to watch a few videos and then look what you could do it for your situation and then put it together. And then you could put up your video and say, hey, this is how I'm using it. You might be out there too. Oh, there's the muffins. We can feel the heat too. Oh, it says low battery. Oh, crap. Okay, well, I'm going to get that. One thing real quick before I'll sign off because I want to start getting this up. But I will show, once I get things in there, I'll show exactly how I did it and how everything works. And again, it's your money. You buy the products and the stuff that you guys want. Don't listen to me or anybody else, without you checking it out. Because it's got to be what you want, But real quick, for anyone that's out there playing and you're out there gigging, expect some of your pay to kind of fluctuate and your tips to kind of fluctuate because with these gas prices, even some of the waiters are talking about that. So just give you a heads up. Doesn't mean you're not doing anything good or no one likes you. Just that at this time with these high gas prices, people are starting to buckle down a little bit. So just be prepared for that, you know. Um, it's not a bad thing that anything on you. Just want to make it clear that. So, anyways, guys, I am going to wrap this up because my battery's going low and I'm getting hungry. So I thank you guys for all your support. Um, we'll see. We'll see if we get this out for our next gig on Monday. We should be able to, and you get to see how it's going to work. Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate everything that you guys do. Yeah, Dave's Pedals made their money. But yeah, you know, Bumblebust, that's it. So what we do when we have to buy products, because everything's being to replace something because it broke or it's getting ready to break, and you don't want to wait right in the middle of the gig, it breaks down in your SOL, right? We look at how we're going to use it, and then we make sure we got money in our gig account, you know, because all the money we make, we try to have it separate, just just for that. And then, make sure we got money for our wear and tear on our vehicles and that, But yeah, we're very blessed and fortunate because this stuff it's paying for itself already, so which is a good thing. Let's see. Yeah, I would get a good UP. I would get it keeps, yeah, the voltage steady. Yeah, like the Cyber Power True Shine Wave to protect the power supplies, speakers. Yeah, Sonia, absolutely. That right there, that is so key right there. What you just said, just that statement right there is going to help a lot of people out because whether you're playing indoors or outdoors, you might have some gigs that you'll be playing at these older buildings. Like we've done that already in the Chicagoland area. And it doesn't no matter where it is you live, you can always have buildings that are deemed historic. So, they're built with old technology, and sometimes if it's historic building, they won't want to change out some of the electronics or the electrical. There's a place, it's called the Baker Hotel, downtown St. Charles. We did a gig there, and thank God we had a 3-to-1 adapter because their wall sockets were just two prong, and they didn't want to change it because it's a historic building. So, yeah, that's real important because then you might have power surges within those buildings, and that could take your gear out, man. So, yeah, the those muffins are. All right, thank you so much, guys. You have a great rest of your weekend. And like I said, I will begin. Dale Palmer, what's happening? Yeah, Dale, it's what the videos I've seen on this thing. It's cool. I can name everything. It's the only one on the market that has a built-in expression pedal. Mainly, I'm gonna use it for volume. So if I have a louder loop, I could just pull everything out hands-free. So yeah, my battery is getting ready to disintegrate here. Internal memory empty. Yeah. Now you only get 3 hours here, but that's enough. So maybe on the other one you get more. I don't know. On the 600, and we could have bought the 600, but this looks cool for what I need. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. This thing's gonna shut off any moment, and yeah, we'll be going live Monday. We're playing from 6 to 9, so I'm gonna see if I can get this thing up and going until then. And then I will be doing videos on this later. So I'll be posting those up. So if you guys get any of this stuff, if you get something like this, I'll do the best I can, show you how I'm using it. But there are other videos out there that get in very much detail with this, and I was very impressed. Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for watching and supporting our channel. We really do appreciate it. You guys are the best. We love you all. Until then, you stay strong, safe, and true. Rock on, and God bless you, my friends. Take care. Keep watching.